All right, so we are here today in the Unevolved Studios with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jeff Fenster.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm so excited.
You know, we talked about doing this, and we thought, hey, I was asking, hey, should we do it in our little studio? And then you're like, hey, why don't you come on up to Vista Carlsbad, and we'll do it in our studio. And now I know why.
I mean, I was more than happy to come to your studio as well.
Not when I see this thing.
But it's fun.
And you just finished this place a couple months ago,
yeah,
I understand?
A few months ago.
And he has got some amazing things coming that we can maybe chat on a bit.
Sure.
But yeah, thanks for coming into the Abundance to Give podcast. You know, as we spoke to everybody else, is the main purpose of this podcast is to talk to super successful entrepreneurs, but not specifically about like how you became successful and how you did it. We'll get into that, but really about how giving and helping others has brought about abundance to your life.
Sure.
And of course, into others as well. But before we get into kind of the serious questions, let's have some fun ones in general. Let's start with country music or alternative?
Country music.
Okay. Favorite country artist, band?
Thomas Rhett.
I was just listening to him on the way up here. Yeah. That guy's badass. Yeah. If I actually sat your kids across this table right now, you have one or two? Two kids. Boy, girl?
Both girls.
Both girls.
17 and 11.
Woo! You're going into the teenager.
Yeah, one's graduating high school next week.
You're probably going to need to give me some help. I got a 7-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old boy, but the 7-year-old daughter is the one I'm a little...
Yeah, my life is run by women.
But if I sat them across right now and asked them to describe you, what would I get?
Ooh, that's a good question. Passionate.
Okay.
Driven. Relentless, not necessarily in a good way for them. Okay. I think it's good, but they may not. Fun.
Anything else? So relentless, passionate, fun.
Driven.
It's good.
Yeah.
We'll take those.
I think those are probably some version of those answers would come out of their mouths.
Hey, we'll take it.
I hope so. If I'm doing my job. If not, we got work to do.
And that same question, if it was your wife.
Oof.
Be careful.
All right, yeah,
Be careful.
All right. This is being recorded. Let me think about that. No, I think she would give similar answers, but probably, rigid.
What would she say your best and worst traits are?
I think they're probably the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that I am so driven and I'm focused on being the best version of myself. But as a result, that's a good quality, but then it's also a bad quality because sometimes she doesn't want that, right?
Does that keep you away from the house too much, in her opinion?
Yes.
Okay.
It does, because I think you have to be 100% committed to whatever you're doing. So when I'm in dad mode, I'm 100% committed. When I'm in husband mode, but when I'm in business mode, I'm 100% committed. And I'm not very good at the balance thing at all.
There's very few people that are. They may say we try to achieve, right, the ideal balance, but I mean, it's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
If you're trying to accomplish great things.
It is. Yeah. It is. And I used to think of it differently, but interviewing Tim Grover and spending some time with him, he broke it down very well, which said a perfectly balanced scale is 0. And so if you're perfect...
Explain that.
Meaning if you look at a scale, it's perfectly balanced.
Okay,
the number is 0. So if you are perfect balance...
Like on a seesaw.
You're not performing in anything. You're just basically going through the motions of everything. Because if I'm balanced, perfect balance between work and I'm being a dad for 2.4 hours a day and I'm being a husband for 2.4 hours. Everything is getting a version, but none of it's getting the best version.
Oh,
none of it's getting any real positive.
That's some Lewis House shit right there.
That is some Lewis House stuff right there. And some Tim Grover stuff right there.
So outside of Everbowl, what other philanthropic passions do you have in general, just for San Diego, anywhere else? I mean, there's got to be.
Yeah. I mean, I do a lot I'm a bit of a hypochondriac, so I'm very big into prevention of illness, and not necessarily on the treatment side as much, but prevention for sure. Definitely look to see how we can be progressive and how we fix and prevent cancers and the things that are killing us. I do a lot with Rady's Children Hospital.
We do too.
Yeah, we did through Everbowl, we do a bunch of big campaigns with them and give as much as we can back to the kids. My youngest daughter, she deals with childhood epilepsy and vitiligo, and so those are conditions that I'm now much more aware of and am focused on helping, provide resources so they can make strides and, advancements or whatever the right terminology is. I don't do a lot outside of I give a lot more money than I do my time these days. I wish I had more time to give, but going back to that balance thing, it's tough. And
well, now you're trying to be a big real estate mogul too,
I'm trying.
You got a construction company, Everbowl, and just going to buy a bunch of real estate.
Yeah, we've got a few other things we're
chatting
doing
before we got on the air here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, here's the deal. In life, we'll call it seasons of life, but in certain seasons you have more time than resources, so you can give time. And other times you have more resource than time, and so you can give money, hopefully. But I think it's important that you give. And it fills my cup up to do that. And then I think what I'm trying to do through my businesses now is actually coach and train the youth of tomorrow, the youth of today, and the business leaders of tomorrow how to be successful. And that's been a new passion of mine, about forget money and forget charities, but really teaching people how to be successful. I have been fortunate enough to be surrounded by incredibly talented, successful humans throughout my life. I was mature enough to be a sponge and not dumb. I wasn't a dumb kid where I ignored that great experience, and I've leveraged it very well for myself, both personally and professionally. And so I see a lot of today's younger adults struggling to figure out how to build relationship capital, how to get opportunities, how to make money, and how to build wealth. And in America, if you don't know how to build wealth, you're always going to be on that hamster wheel chasing it.
That's right.
And if you're trying to be an entrepreneur in business and you don't have the relationship capital, you're always going to be struggling to figure out how to get to the top of your industry or build those right partnerships. And I want to give back in those sides, because I think we always think about giving as far as money and charity. But what we don't understand is sometimes teaching people how to fish properly
versus giving them fish sets them up for a life of abundance and opportunity and success. Yeah.
And so that's been the biggest area of my time the last 2 years. I wrote a book on relationship capital that I'm happy to give away.
I saw that, by the way. I may have to buy a little copy of that.
Or I'll give
Is it an Amazon special yet?
It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon. We hit bestseller, so I'm fortunate about that. And I have a PDF that I'll give anyone in your audience for free. Text the word Jeff to 33777. It's called the Network to Millions Playbook. It's little excerpts from the book, tactics you can deploy immediately to start building better relationships and leverage, because that's really the name of the game, is who you know is so much more important than what you know.
Well, it's funny, because that's leading right into the next little rapid fire questions.
All right, let's go.
I'm going to read off some names of people.
Okay.
And you give me the first description word that comes to your mind.
Okay.
And one of them is going to be easy, because he's Dan Fleischman.
Networker.
Jen Gottlieb.
Badass.
Kent Clothier.
Real estate titan.
Ed Milet.
Badass.
He's a badass.
He is a badass.
Am I missing anyone? Actually, who was probably the first big mentor, inspiration in your life that you can recall moving the needle for you?
David Meltzer.
And how so?
Our moms are best friends.
Okay.
And they worked together for 30 years. And so when he was in high school and I was a little kid, we became family friends.
Okay.
And I got to, my personality and his are very similar in a lot of ways. And so he took a inkling to this little kid, and I wanted to be like him. So I used to wear his jersey when he was playing high school football.
Oh, really?
Like we were family. And so when I was in middle school and high school, he was finished law school and was working in, running CEO of a publicly traded company, or had a couple startups, and I got to intern and work for him. And that's going back to where I had the maturity to be a sponge and not dumb enough
Big time.
Yeah. And so learning from him about the power of relationship capital and understanding the power of network. And I went to law school to be a sports agent, to go work at Lee Steinberg Sports Agency. He was the president of Lee Steinberg Sports Agency at the time.
Okay, so that's so funny, because who is the guy out of Newport Beach that's a sports agent?
There's lots of them.
Oh, there was one really big one, not Lee Steinberg. There's another one. I forget the guy's name. I'm having a brain fart. But I tried to actually get an internship with him.
Yeah.
And there was another friend that ended up working for him for a little while. I don't know why I'll figure out the name. We'll pop it up on the screen. But that's so funny, because I'm like, I don't think I could do the sports agent thing.
I wanted to, but then ended up meeting my wife and having becoming a dad my third year of law school. And so I didn't want to travel the world when I graduated. So it was one of those things where it's like, now you have 6 figures in law school loans and your entire career is no longer that.
Where'd you go to law school?
Thomas Jefferson School of Law.
And then took the bar or not take the bar?
No, didn't.
Okay. So you passed through it, but then...
Yeah, graduated, got my JD.
Okay.
Had a big bill to pay. And
did you do? Was there a joint program where you do the MBA too, or just
I
the law?
I didn't pursue it. I never thought about business. I was going to be a sports agent. Next Jerry Maguire.
No joke. That's serious.
Who is Lee Steinberg?
Yeah,
that
that's what it was all
built
based
off
on.
of. Yeah.
Okay.
Funny.
Was there a pivotal moment for Everbowl that you can recall going back where maybe it was a meeting, a moment, something on there where I could say, like, this was the moment where I saw Everbowl going from where it was at to now where it's at today?
COVID. March 18th, 2020. I had 28 stores, was never franchising. They were all ours, and we were going to grow it, and we were on our trajectory. Things were humming, and COVID happened. March 18th, 2020. I had to shut down 28 stores and lay off over 400 people on the same day.
Oh.
Yeah. And that was the toughest day it's emotionally tough, right? Because when I started Everbowl, I'd already sold a handful of companies, so I didn't need Everbowl for my financial world. It was a passion project. I started Everbowl truly as a passion project.
Gotcha.
And you're fully indoctrinated into it, right? So I started in 2016. This is 2020.
Yep.
It was like I was spending all my time into it. Like, this is my project. I love Everbowl. I love everything we're doing. And then COVID happened, and I had to lay off all these people, which killed me.
Yep.
And I had to potentially tell some of my investors it's over. And I didn't know, no one knew what was going on.
Right.
So that was the moment where we pivoted from corporate locations only to we're going to open franchising, because we had 500 franchise requests. We had this whole new version of ourselves that we had to become as we needed to grow into markets where travel was restricted and human behavior was being changed from people working remote, and just the human migration patterns in the United States was changing. Like, just every store through a door, using technology, everything was changing. And so the business changed from us running restaurants on March 18, 2020 till May 1st becoming an operations, a support company where we're now going to build a franchise business. We went direct to consumer. We launched a product called Later Bowls, and we started selling direct to consumer. And we started going on QVC and selling out of the, through technology. And then ultimately from there, that allowed us to start partnering with a lot of big name celebrities and bring in a ton of outside capital, and the Fleischmans of the world now, who own a bunch of franchises, and Drew Brees, who owns 150 locations, and us with our construction company getting to work with Shaq because I got to show him Everbowl, and ultimately.
So that all happened
because of COVID.
I'm sure you've heard the saying, in moments of suffering, greatness is born.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
You think?
Well, I mean, it's nature, right? Because if you think about a forest burns down and then new growth happens.
Yeah.
You can't have new growth unless everything gets shut off, torn down. And so why would I rethink my business model when things are working? March 18th, 2020, when I shut everything down, March 19th, I wake up and I have no business, I have no employees. What am I going to do? That's the question you have to ask yourself. And I was forced to ask myself. Everyone was, but in our own way. But COVID forced us to look at the business and go, what do we do now? Well, we have 28 corporate locations. We have a ton of food because I have my own import company. We manufacture all of our own superfood flavors. Okay. And we have no customers.
Holy bully.
Yeah. So what do you do? And so that was where it was like, well, I'd sold a digital marketing agency. I knew how digital marketing was a real thing, and direct to consumer was great, and people were ordering food, and we had never really dabbled yet. So we spun up a Shopify website called Later Bowls, where we started selling bowls to people's homes, 10 in a box with dry ice. And now you can order. All those customers are on those
all the home
locations.
delivery.
Home delivery. Well, guess what happens? From there, you start to do that. And then it's like, well, that's working. What if we got on QVC and sold it nationally?
Are you guys still doing that?
Yeah. Not the Later Bowls, but we are doing a version on QVC where we sell product. And so it was like, well, now let's get to QVC. So we started doing that. And then it was like, okay, now we can reopen our stores. We were going to go open 20 more stores, but it was kind of a little scary. And then we were like, hey, we have over 500 franchise requests. We were never going to franchise. But what if we look at this more seriously? And so our big private equity investor is Saruya Private Equity. They're one of the largest franchise investors in the world. I mean, they have 18,000 franchisees in 54 countries, all the biggest brands and names. I mean, they just sold Global Franchise Group, just sold for like $500 million, which is hot dog on a stick, round table pizza. They sold Kahala brands. They used to own Jamba
I mean, those
Juice.
aren't name brands at all.
Yeah, Weight Watchers, Eskimo Pie, Tropicana. So they know a thing or two. And so I asked them, again, who you know. I started to say, okay, listen, I know you always wanted us to franchise, and I always told you no. You're smart, I'm dumb, teach me. And so they did, and we launched franchising, and lo and behold, my sports agency days, I almost was going to have Drew Brees be a brand ambassador. We just never could work the deal out while he was in the NFL. And so when we started doing later bowls, he started ordering our bowls to his house. And then he started sending me texts of him making bowls with his kids. And look how good his
Bling,
bowls
bling.
are. Yeah. And so as a result of that,
Oh,
looks like it's
your Velcro thing's going to fall off.
Yeah, let me.
If you want to grab it. You can just keep recording.
Yeah,
Why
he'll
not?
just cut it.
Yeah.
He'll just cut this part. You want to come?
Yeah, it's about to come.
It's coming down.
Awesome.
You good?
Well, trading ways to like another question is
I'll just make sure he's
oh.
ready so that way you have a clean cut.
you good?
Do you want me to finish that Drew Brees story or no?
Yeah, please.
You're good.
So Drew started ordering food to his house, and as a result of that, he ultimately then called me and said, Jeff, I want in on this brand. My family loves it. I love it. I love you and the brand and everything we stand for. I don't just want to be a brand ambassador. I want to be an investor, and I want to be a franchisee. Let me, and since you're franchising, and I know franchise because I franchise other brands, let's do that. And so COVID, that opportunity created all of these new verticals for us to go and explore and pursue.
Yeah.
And the company you see today and the companies you see today
Yep.
never probably get shaped this way if we weren't thrown to the floor due to COVID.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So
I love it.
life gives you lemons. Build a lemonade empire.
Speaking of people and helping that grow, if we pulled up two other chairs to this table with two other microphones, who would you want here?
For this conversation or just period in
right
general?
now. Actually, in general, but they would be here with the table with us.
These are good questions.
Two people.
That I know or don't know?
Doesn't matter. Whoever you would want. If you could have a conversation at this table, you, me, and two other people, heck, throw me to the wind for a minute. Just you and two other people.
Well, I mean, I like having a conversation with you too.
Who would they be? And then what would that conversation look like?
See, it's tough because there's so many people I'd like to have conversations with, and I'm going to have to go with people I don't know personally, because I can just call them off the table if I knew them. So I would say I would want to talk to Michael Jordan.
Okay.
I want him at the table.
Badass.
And just somebody anyone who can be that superior at their craft and that focused and that dedicated and that competitive, that just attracts me.
So then you saw the series Last Dance, right?
Oh, yeah. And I just saw Air also, which
I mean,
awesome.
unbelievable.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why I was so, Tim Grover, I loved the conversation because he got to be Michael Jordan's personal coach and LeBron and Kobe Bryant's and Dwayne Wade. And so as you start to understand the methodical nature of these high
value, high performing individuals.
I mean, the ability to be the best at anything in the world. I don't care what you do. You can be the absolute best at chess, at basketball, as a mother, at cooking, as a father. If you can be the best in the world at something, I need to get to understand why and what makes you tick, because that is just so powerful to me.
So it's Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan for sure. And then I'd round it out on the other side, and I'd probably want to have Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
Because someone who can overcome what she overcame to build an empire the way she built it with the empathy that she has and the ability to connect and I mean, to be a woman in the industry in the 80s and 90s when she came up, not to mention a minority woman, which makes it even harder, and to be at the top of her craft. I mean, what she built is something that just needs to...
It is unreal.
I just need to understand, and I just think that conversation, the four of us,
So
between
Michael Jordan
and
Oprah. I mean, I may show up for it.
If you didn't, I would be a little upset.
So, morning routines and regimes that you have. Let's walk through those for a minute.
Okay.
And then,
what's the difference between routine and regime?
Or I should say regimen.
Okay.
Sorry. Regimen and morning routine that you have.
Yeah. So I'm up usually between 4:30 and 5:30.
That early?
I just wake up.
I thought my 5 a.m. was
I just wake up. I don't set alarms.
4:30.
Wait till you have a 17-year-old daughter.
Okay, fair enough.
Just wait.
Fair enough. Because you're probably up from the night before because she's.
It's just I don't know. I'm 40. I just wake up.
Okay.
Trust me. I wake up and I'm wide awake. I look at the clock.
So you had kids young.
Yeah.
Okay.
4:38 in the morning, and you're like, can I go back? I can't go back to bed. So what am I going to do?
I mean, I tell Alexis to go pound sand at 4:30 in the morning if she tries to,
Yeah. Well, my kids don't wake me up. I just wake up.
So you're up at 4:30.
Between 4:30 and 5:30.
Okay.
Based on what time I went to bed and my travel schedule. And it also plays really good because I'm on the East Coast a ton.
Okay.
And so with the time change, it never bothers me because 4:30 on the East Coast is 7:30, so I'm still good.
Right.
So that could be why I'm programmed this way. But anyway, I wake up 4:30 to 5:30. I usually do a workout first thing. I have a gym in my house that I built, so I go downstairs.
How long is it?
45 minutes.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll sit in my sauna for 30 minutes after. So
are you a cold plunger now too?
I've always had.
I feel like
one.
I need to get into this thing.
I don't use it.
Okay.
It's funny enough. Ice Barrel, thank you, Ice Barrel. They gave me one, and I used to. So when I was in college and I boxed, I used to use cold plunge theory.
Yep.
Like it would make me feel better after getting my head beaten. I'm 40. I don't like it. I just don't. Like I don't get as much value. I like the sauna.
Okay.
I sweat it out. I do my workout. And then, by that time now it's between 5:30 and 6:30. Okay. And then I have a smoothie, drink my coffee.
Everbowl smoothie?
I make one at home. I make one at home. Big thing of spinach, blueberries, banana, water, ice, some dates. It's good. Get my salad in, get going. Drink my coffee. My kids will be coming down, leaving for school. I sometimes get to spend a couple minutes with them, and then it's on with the day. You
hear it often that hour, 2 hours in the morning before the day gets going, right? It can be some of the most productive, especially when you talk to highly successful folks. Do you agree with that? And why we can understand why that is. You just don't have any distractions. But do you think there's something else to it?
Well, I do. I mean, I get more, there's a military thing where it's like, make your bed, right?
I have that book, by the way, and I gave it to both my kids. Yeah. The first thing they do when they wake up in the morning, make the bed, get your clothes dressed, brush your teeth before you even come downstairs.
Yes. But you know why they tell you to make your bed?
It's the first task you complete in the day.
Yep.
So it kind of gives you some momentum.
Yep.
Right.
And number two, if you have a bad day, when you go home at night, you get to go into a made bed.
Yeah.
So
it's not sloppy.
You exactly. You end or start your day with productivity and something positive. And the idea there, I think, is just if you start to build the habits, and this is really important. This is kind of going back to what we talked about earlier about, what I'm trying to focus on is teaching people not soft skills and not how to do real estate or do restaurants or do construction. Like those are skills you can learn, but the habits of highly successful people is what fascinates me and what I tried to build on my own. And what I want others to understand is how to fish, not what to do, but like literally what are those habits? And as you start to build a lifestyle where you accomplish things and you learn what win stacking is and you make these small wins daily and you continue to improve and you get into the regimen of doing it, and the habits of doing it. So by me waking up and getting out of bed and working out every day, well, guess what? I don't deal with I don't have time to work out syndrome, and I don't have this, and I work out. I get it done. It's accomplished. Boom, it's 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I've already sweated it out. I've done a workout. I have high endorphins. I feel good. I didn't have distractions. No business meetings calling me at 4 in the morning that's going to be like, oh, this is more important.
Yeah.
And from there, the rest of the day, I get to continue that process between, okay, I already did something hard, accomplished it. So when it comes time to making business calls, same thing. It's like my brain is programmed to deal with the how do I accomplish things over and over and over again.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask is there has to be mornings, and I'm curious how you get over this because it's a mental push. You're sitting in your bed, you're exhausted. It's 4:35, and you need to get up. You need to go work out. You need to do the morning routine, and you just are like, fuck. How do you get over that?
A month.
Yeah. How do you get over that mentally? Because I think that's what people need to learn. It's that process of getting over I don't want to do it.
So there's two things. Number one, I have a personal mantra, and it is if I don't feel like doing something, I have to do it.
Okay.
And if I feel like doing it, great, go do it. Okay. So I tell myself that, like today. And so I have this Instagram broadcast channel thing I started this year where in a way, I just reflect on something that I want to talk about. And I don't know who sees it or I don't care. It's for me. It's like my version of a journal. And I even wrote today, like today was one of those days. I didn't feel like doing anything.
Oh, so it was this morning.
Literally today. If you look at my thing on this date, you will see that I wrote, I want to call it in today. I want to cancel all my meetings and I want to have a personal me day.
Beautiful.
Not that I don't deserve it.
Yeah.
But the next thing I remind myself is, like all things, when you put weight on stuff or you put things under duress, that's where they get stronger and grow. Mm-hmm. And as people, if you really want success, if you really want to grow, the days you really don't feel like doing it and do it anyway is the biggest growth days, because you're training yourself to embrace the suck and to turn off that voice that's telling you you're tired, you don't have to do it today, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When you can turn that voice off and you build the routine.
It's almost like keeping the promises to yourself in a way.
Or building the habit, right?
Yeah.
You brush your teeth every day because it's a habit.
Yeah.
If you don't brush your teeth, you feel awkward. Like, hey, I need to brush my teeth. I didn't brush my teeth today.
Could be a little rough.
Could be a little rough. But to a little kid, they don't feel that.
No.
They don't care.
It's so
they don't
ridiculous.
have the habit. They don't have the habit.
Wow.
So you need to build the habit of saying, I work out anyway. I make the calls anyway. I do this behavior anyway. And the environment and the experience of how I feel doesn't matter. And then the next thing I understand is the first few minutes are going to suck anyway.
Yeah.
So just start it. And if you just start doing it, a few minutes
momentum
in,
builds.
You don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like today, I didn't feel like working out. I got on my Peloton this morning because that's one of the easier workouts I can do, where I just get to sit there and pedal.
Sounds like similar.
Yeah.
If you don't want to like pump weights, there's the Peloton. Let's get on there for 20 minutes and find, Kendall Toole is like my favorite Peloton person.
So I'm on the Peloton this morning and I start, and 4 or 5 minutes in, I find, and first I was just going to do anything, any activity on it is better than zero. So I was like, look, let's just get going. So I started, and then, you know what? I ended up having a good workout. And I did my 25 minutes on that. I then moved over to my weightlifting, and then I did some sauna. And I still felt like I wish today was a Sunday and I had nothing on the
It was
schedule.
half a fuck, and we can cuss on the Abundance to Good podcast.
It was half a fuck.
Okay.
And so by the end of it, I felt better. And you know what? I'm more energetic right now than I was going into it.
Yeah. It's amazing.
You're getting a better me because I suffered through that.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
I did
that.
it for you. And the Abundance to Give podcast.
If you had to start another business,
Okay.
because I didn't know this. I thought Everbowl was the main program. You said it was a passion project for you. But if you had to start another business, what would it be to get to where you're at today? To get to where you're at financially across the board. Like
Well, yeah, I didn't make my money with Everbowl.
Right.
I want to make more money from Everbowl, so go to Everbowl. I had a payroll business I sold in end of 2010, beginning of 2011.
Gotcha.
Recruiting agency I sold, and a
Okay.
digital marketing agency I sold.
There you go. So you would just start another one.
I
of those.
just would start something.
Okay.
I think experience in a vertical is the most overrated prerequisite to starting a business or being successful.
Okay.
I have a success formula, and I believe success is formulaic. And
Is this in your book?
This is not. My book's on relationship capital, but this is my podcast is about the Jeff Fenster show and what I teach on stage.
Yep.
And what I help people understand, and what I'm trying to explain is the habits, the success formula of successful people. You look at someone like Drew Brees.
Yep.
He was a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He was incredibly charitable man. He has a beautiful family. He now is a franchisee of tons of different concepts. He's a franchisor of tons of different concepts. He's involved in banks and all this business. And if you talk to anyone who he's involved with, he's a badass killing it in all of them. Kobe Bryant, he won championships. He won an Oscar or a Grammy for his short film when he moved into that. Michael Jordan owns a basketball team. Oprah Winfrey is a talk show host, plus all the businesses she runs. People who are successful at all the things they try because they follow a formula. Most people who aren't successful not because they don't have the skills to do it. They don't have the formula to do it. They don't know what to fall back on when you hit those turbulent waters. And so I'm very clear on my success formula. There's 5 core principles of it. It's make friends, have fun, take immediate decisive action or do it now, Kaizen, get 1% better every day, and be change ready. And so any issue I'm dealing with, any challenge or opportunity I'm dealing with, I plug against those 5 core values, those 5 success formula principles.
So if you hit a wall, you hit a snag, you go through
COVID.
Through a tough time. You'll fall back on those and talk to yourself through those.
Absolutely. Okay. So COVID happened. Take immediate decisive action. March 19th, I started Later Bowls. Be change ready. We never franchised. We were franchising. Kaizen. I suck at both of those. We're going to get 1% better every day. Okay. Make friends with as many people as I can so I can build my empire and do that and have fun, because by having fun, I'm going to outwork everyone because I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
You're not. And when I started
It's a passion.
my digital marketing agency, I knew nothing about computers. I partnered with Neil Patel, one of the world's most premier digital marketers. Yeah. I got access to him because of my relationship capital with Pat Flynn and how I navigated to that relationship with Neil. I made friends with Neil. I made friends with all of our customers. Same with my payroll business, my recruiting agency. When you look at all my success, I don't know how to do payroll. I don't know how to do digital marketing. I don't know how to build stuff. And we build for Shaq. We build for Drew Brees. We build all these Everbowls. I'm not a chef, and I own 70 restaurants going on 370.
That's amazing.
It's the relationship capital.
Yeah,
it's my success formula, which is why I want to empower everyone else to understand that if you start to look at successful people, whoever they are, pick whoever inspires you. Don't look at what they do. Don't look at Kobe Bryant or LeBron. He's passed away. LeBron James on a basketball court. That's not what makes LeBron successful. It's what LeBron does when no one's watching and the cameras are off that makes LeBron James successful. When you look at Oprah Winfrey, what made her successful? Her empathy, her relationship capital, her ability to navigate. She has her own formula. That's what I'm excited about. And so that's what has allowed me. So you asked, to answer your question, if I lost all my money, had to start all over, and you moved me to a place where I knew nobody, I would make friends immediately. I'd start having fun, and I would take immediate decisive action on the best opportunity I saw in front of me. I'd Kaizen my way to the top, and if I hit something along the path that made me need to change, whether it be macro or micro reasons, I would change and start back over.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's how you do it right there.
It works. It's math.
No, I mean, it's just, that's an incredible formula. I mean, you hear people give their insights as to success and up, down, left, right. The other thing you kind of notice about the people you just spoke about, a lot of them give back a lot too.
Well, you have to.
Time or money, right? But
that's all in my
you
book.
do too.
Yeah, of course. That's how you build the relationships.
Right.
By giving. You don't build relationships by taking. And so the name of my book is Relationship Bank Account because truthfully, every relationship you have with everybody, your mom, your kids, your spouse, friends, coworkers, suppliers, vendors, strangers, it's all based on the idea of a bank account. Like me and you have a non-physical
relationship bank account.
We do. Yeah. And so if all I did was take and ask, I'm making withdrawals over and over again. What's going to happen to our relationship is you're going to not want to hang out with me. You're not going to want to help me. You're like, gosh, Jeff, all he does is ask me for favors, ask me for help, require me to do. He never gives anything to me. He never fills my cup up. Sure. And we all know those people, right? Versus the person who leads with value and gives. How
I mean, I was just on a phone call the other day with one of my mentorship students, and what was very interesting is he was coming on to try and learn real estate and multifamily, but the minute the call happened, it actually switched to, oh, I'm not really interested in learning. We actually own some stuff. I'm actually looking to see if you'd like to partner with me and, help me out and give to me. And I'm like, wait a minute, we're supposed to just have a conversation.
Yes.
And it just became an immediate taking fest, which was a turnoff because it's like, hey, we're here to work together. Like I'll give to you, we're all here to reciprocity. So I can, totally feel that.
And that's true. And then it's about understanding that if you make deposits into as many humans' bank accounts, relationship accounts as you can, you actually are wealthy, right? Like it's the same as real money. If I make deposits in my bank account, I have wealth. If I make deposits into people's bank accounts with me and I lead with value and I help as many humans as I can in every which way I can, whether it's with my relationship capital and who I can introduce them to, with my time, how I can lend a hand, you need to move, I'll help you come and I'll move stuff, or I'll help you paint if I don't have money. If it's writing you a check, if it's helping you solve a problem that maybe I have domain expertise in, whatever it is, there's so many ways I can add value to another human that if I do that again and again and again, over time, you're extremely wealthy in these relationship accounts and you've earned the opportunity and the right to make a withdrawal when you need to. So I'll give you a real world example. I wanted to start a digital marketing agency in 2012. I had no idea how computers really work. So
you're hearing this right now.
Yes.
From the Jeff man.
Yeah. So my wife joked and she's like, you don't even know how to use a computer. I'm like, yeah, I'll figure it out. So I looked at who I know. Okay. And I knew Pat Flynn. And Pat Flynn is a guy I went to middle school and high school with, and we had maintained a friendship. And I called Pat and I said, Pat, he has his website, smartpassiveincome.com, where he shows how much money he makes per month on passive income online. I'm like, this is me. I want that.
Yeah.
So I call him and I'm like, hey, Pat, can I take you for lunch? He's like, yeah, of course. So we go to lunch. I want to pay you $10,000 a month to teach me how to make money online, digital marketing. And he goes, Jeff, the name of my business is Smart Passive Income. It's not active. I'm not going to be your coach. I'm not going to teach you. But you should talk to Neil Patel. I'm like, who's Neil Patel? He's like, Google him. He's world famous in this space.
Yep.
You're the guy you want to know. I'll make an introduction for you. So I earned the right to ask for a withdrawal from Pat because we had a lifelong relationship. He makes an introduction to Neil Patel. Now I have a meeting with Neil Patel. And I want to partner with Neil. Back to the same call you had with your mentor. But what can I do to make Neil want to partner with me? Instead of me saying, hey, Neil, you want to partner with me?
Right.
He gets 100 me's and I have no value to him. So I looked at what I can do to lead with value. If I'm Neil, what do I want? Well, I probably want money and I want more accounts. I'm really good. I have an infrastructure and a team. We know how to do digital marketing. What can I do to provide value to that organization? Well, I just sold a payroll business with thousands of businesses around the country. It's 2012 where there's still a lot of companies that haven't fully migrated to online sales, and there's still a lot of offline, and we actually were still getting physical catalogs in the mail, and there was still a lot of that business happening, and I had relationships with them all. And I make friends with my clients, and I use solution-based selling as the backbone of how I built my businesses. So I said, you know what I can do for Neil is I can bring him a lot of business. I'm going to go close a deal before my call with Neil. And so I went to a former client of mine and I said, listen, I want to help you migrate your offline business to your online business. They were doing about $40 million a year in revenue, only about $1 million online.
Wow.
$39 million offline. So I was like, well, this is a pretty good opportunity. I'm sure this is going to work. So I went to them and I said, listen, lead with value for them too. I want to come in and help you bring that $39 million that's offline, digitize it because it's going to give you data. It's going to make it cheaper and reduce your costs and expand it beyond it. That's where the world's going. I'm going to bring Neil Patel in. If you don't know him, Google him. He's the best. Haven't talked to Neil yet. Don't pay me.
I love how you're just setting this up.
Yeah, don't pay me though. Costs you nothing for this meeting.
Yeah.
We're only going to get paid based on success. If I make you more money than you're already making online, you'll pay me a piece. And we'll figure out what that piece will be. Great. Set the meeting. Done. Now I have my meeting with Neil. Neil, nice to meet you. I have a check for you. Where do you want me to send
I was
it?
about to say that must have been an
That's
amazing
what I said.
conversation.
I said, where do you want me to send the check? First thing I said to him after he went through the little bit of the pleasantries, I said, I have a check for you for 6 figures. Where do I send it? And he laughed. He goes, why?
Did he just look at you like
Well, it was actually a
deer in
phone
headlights?
call first.
Okay.
It was truthfully a phone call, so I didn't get to see his face.
Okay.
But he said, like, he laughed. He was kind of like taken back. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I sold our
this
first
is the
client.
first time this has happened.
Yeah, I sold our first client. I have a check for you for $150,000. Where do you want it? Who do I make it out to? He's like, how about I fly to San Diego and and I explained to him, look, I'm going to prepay it. I have all the confidence in the world. There's no risk to you. If we can't help them, I'll end up eating the money. I don't care. I want to learn this industry. I have thousands of these clients just like them. I need you to come with me. This is something we can do together. You're an expert at digital marketing. I have an incredible relationship capital network, and I'm really good in sales. Together, we can do this, and why don't we try it? And I'll pay for it. So at a minimum, it's a job for you, and if it works out, we'll build a partnership. He came to San Diego. It worked out. We made a ton of money. We partnered. We worked with some of the biggest websites on the planet, and it was fun. And that's how utilizing relationships can do it. I led with value to every single point of the thing where I was taking the risk. Now, I was in a financial position to do it.
That's a perfect description of how giving back, helping others,
Yes.
literally creates abundance.
Yes, because I made millions of dollars from digital marketing because I was willing to give Neil $150,000 and give a client a free opportunity and pay for it because I believed, I did the homework and I believed that there was a strategic opportunity for me.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't do that blind. I mean, I spent time and effort.
Sure.
Like, I said it very quickly.
It was thought out.
It was thoughtful.
Yeah.
I wasn't reckless. Don't just go write $150,000 checks to people. Just
This was
on a whim.
tactful.
It was. There was a strategy behind this. But in that same vein, I think that it applies in so many other areas. You talk about how you recruit talent, right? Because you talk about abundance to give. The way you recruit amazing teams to allow you to accomplish this is the same thing. You give more than you receive.
That's right.
Right? You give and you create a culture of giving. You create an environment where it's like, how can I empower? What do you want out of life? And how can I help you achieve that? And is there a way for us to do it together? The answer is yes, let's do that. And I'm going to build you up. And I want to be the dumbest guy in the room and surround myself with smarter people.
We hear that all the
walk around
time.
this office, I am the dumbest guy in this building. They are all better at everything. And I get to stand on their shoulders as the CEO. And I'll be honest, I'm only doing that because of my team.
Yep.
And that's kind of how it goes.
It's amazing. How are we doing on time, by the way?
It's clock right there.
About 39 minutes.
Okay. We got a few more.
Yeah.
See if I have any more questions. I'll just throw out some good ones.
Please. It's your show. Hopefully you're getting what you want.
Yeah, this is incredible content.
Good.
And I love how you're talking. I mean, you're getting to talk about your passion, which is helping others.
I can give you another story if you want.
Well, I do. What I want to kind of, I mean, with that passion of, do you think mentorship and education are like the two components to someone, regardless of their starting point in life, having the chance at greatness? Because let me follow up with that question, because you see a lot of people that maybe are trust fund babies, right? But they start at hero and they go to zero. And then we see so many examples of zero go to hero. And then you look at how that happened. And many of the times I see some form of education and some form of mentorship that surrounded that child at a younger age to allow them to, I call it, stay in the rails of the freeway.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that?
I absolutely think education, and I don't necessarily mean formal degree education. I mean actual knowledge plus mentorship plus coaching equals an acceleration to success. There's a fun saying, and it's like, it's tough times create strong men. Strong men create easy times create weak men create strong.
I think I just saw that
times.
Recently.
Yeah. And that's why, and I say men, but it's men or women. It's just the way the saying goes. That's why trust fund babies tend to not be, or don't fulfill their potential in life, and tend to get rid of everything because it was too easy. And we talked about this earlier, tough times in those moments, whether it's wind for a tree or challenges or COVID, that creates the opportunity for growth. And so I think having education, and by again, I mean education, actually having a passion for learning and a thirst for knowledge and learning things, not just reading one thing on the internet and thinking that's the end all be all. I mean, especially in today's polarizing world, whatever side of the political spectrum you're on, whatever side of the financial spectrum you're on, left, right, east, west, I don't care. Yep. We have a bad habit of reading one piece of information and thinking that it's fact, and not understanding that there is a 360 degrees of information that you should have, and then make a decision. Even if it's the same outcome, I don't care, but be informed. Yep. And the idea that we don't want to hear things that are different to our perspective, is offensive. It's dangerous. It's setting you back. I want people around me, and I want a team that thinks differently than I do and challenges my way of thinking.
I mean, I think that's why I gravitate so much to people like a Joe Rogan.
Yes.
Very level-headed. I call it the libertarian mindset of, just give it to me. I'll listen to it. And I'm open, and I'm not going to pivot to polarize one way or the other, because that is what tears us apart. Yes. And the media is brilliant at it.
Well, it is, and we as society have come to this conclusion where we want to only hear ideas that we like. Mm-hmm. We don't want it offends us.
Because it's uncomfortable, right? But that's okay.
We have a need to be offended in 2023. Everyone seems to have this need where it's like, I can't wait to find how what you're about to say is going to offend me, regardless of whether it's left or right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Both sides. Every side. And I don't understand it. Like, why can I not hear something I don't like? Why am I so sensitive? We need to desensitize our emotions and just understand that we live in a country with the freedom of speech. Yep. Now, we all want freedom of speech until we don't like what's being said.
Interesting, right?
So we need to embrace the fact that, no, I want to hear your differing views, even if I completely disagree with them. Yeah. Completely. I want you to have the right to talk about it, because through that conversation, we're going to hopefully have back and forth and build the right answer for whatever the challenge is in front of us. And so, to your question, education, learning things that we don't like to hear about, but learning all the sides and being mentally challenging our own views and saying, this is what I believe, but am I right? Is this appropriate? Is this accurate? I mean, every generation we learn new things, right? Every 10 years, new information comes out that makes us rethink. I mean, smoking wasn't bad for you until it was.
Right.
Right? There was a time when doctors smoked. In the 70s, smoking didn't cause cancer. Just didn't, because they didn't have the data.
Yep.
Then the data came out, and smoking cigarettes causes cancer. Right?
Surprise.
But there was truly doctors that smoked and would tell you, this doesn't hurt you.
Right.
Not because they were wrong. They believed it because there wasn't data to disprove it.
Of course.
And so they wouldn't look at studies that disproved it, because they're like, everything I've read, or et cetera. So we need to be open to new perspectives and ideas. And mentorship coaching is vital. If you don't have a mentor and a coach in all the areas of your life that you're not happy with the result, or you don't want to continue to grow in, I mean, LeBron James has a coach. Michael Jordan had a coach.
I know.
Kobe Bryant had a coach. Tom Hanks had an acting coach. There's a reason. I have coaches. I play tennis. I have a tennis coach. I stretch because I'm
Are
bad
you into
at
the
it.
pickleball thing yet?
I'm not. I play full tennis.
You're like, I play real tennis.
Well, real
I haven't done
tennis.
the pickleball thing either. I do play tennis as well.
Oh, we'll have to play.
Are you a golfer?
I used to golf before kid number 2.
Okay, and it's just because you can't take 9 or you can't
5.5 hours.
to go on a golf course.
My wife made
can
me
you do
pick.
9 holes though?
I mean, I used to play a lot of golf.
Okay. I
used to
started
be
doing
pretty
just
good.
9 holes because then you can get in and out of there in 2.5 hours. Just do 9 holes.
Let me be honest. I'd be lying if I said it was the 5 hours. The reason why is because I played so much golf when I was younger
Okay.
that I was decent at golf.
Oh,
I was like a high 70s, low 80s golfer.
that's
Decent
good.
at golf, yeah. Then what happened is business and kids happened, and I would play less golf, and I'd go out, and then I'd be a high 80s, low
So you
90s
got
golfer.
pissed.
It just wasn't fun anymore. I used to be good at this game, and now I'm not good
But
at this
that's
game.
when you start drinking.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, you know what, we're gonna. I told my wife, I'll pick up golf when I retire,
Fair enough.
when I have nothing but time.
Or you just go down to Mission Bay Golf Course.
Yeah.
It's a par 3.
Yeah,
Just bring your chipper and your putter, and you're good.
fair.
And that's all you have to do. The
So
entire
I used to
time.
golf, but tennis. But I wanted to get better at stretching. I have a stretching coach. I have business mentors and coaches.
Okay.
I invest in myself.
Yep.
The number one investment you should make is in your mind and in yourself.
Couldn't agree more.
And LeBron James spends $1 million a year on coaches just outside of his already NBA coaches for his body, his mind, his nutrition.
I didn't know it was that much, but
$1
that's
million. Yeah, it's $1 million a year.
Holy cow.
And he's the best in the world at basketball. And so I think if you don't already hire a mentor or coach in the areas you want to improve, you don't have to. By all means, that self-made thing might make you feel good. No one's self-made, though. Let me just reference that out. We all have parents that created us. But that being said, you're just choosing to take the long route when there's an elevator. And outside of physical fitness, trying to be healthy, take the stairs. But in business and life and success, take the elevator and learn from the people who can give you the domain expertise and help you avoid paying the dummy tax and let you know what the cheat code is. Remember the game Contra?
Oh, heck yeah.
Up, down, left, right, that whole thing. That gave you unlimited lives. Why wouldn't you want? Yeah, why wouldn't you want the code? I want the code.
Yeah.
If you can help me and you're listening to this and I said something and you're like, I can help Jeff, please call me, text me, email me, IG me. DM me.
And what's amazing, just so everybody understands how accessible Jeff is, obviously not that we're both here in San Diego and you're born and raised?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Born and raised San
Franchise
Diegans
school.
is
Go Falcons.
pretty accessible,
Yeah.
which is amazing because not that many people are. So
Rule number 1, make friends. I want to make friends with you. So if you are watching this or hearing this, I want you to reach out. If I don't know you, I'd love to get to know you. I think I can learn from everybody. And I like to build my relationship capital. I will tell you, my payroll business, my number one biggest client I ever got was from the checkout clerk at Albertsons.
no shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I made friends with her over the year and a half of going to Albertsons.
And she introduced you to the
Her
higher
brother.
up, the higher. Okay.
No, it wasn't even at Albertsons. I was doing a favor. You talk about abundance to give. This is a good story for this show. Just through cordial conversation. I wasn't just ignoring her because I didn't think she added value to my life. I make small talk, just simple small talk. She knew I had kids, or a kid and one on the way. She knew I had a payroll business. I knew about her and her life. Lo and behold, year and a half, just walking through. Hey, Jeff, do you mind if I give my brother your phone number? He's dealing with a major payroll issue. I said, sure. I was going to do her a favor. I didn't expect to make a dime out of this thing. I was going to help her brother with some payroll issue.
Yep.
Sure. Lo and behold, he has over 1,000 employees at his company. It was a 6-figure-a-year contract. And based on helping him and understanding his needs and showing him what my application and our SaaS-based tool could do, he migrated his payroll and his HR over to our company. And I went from, keep in mind, this is recurring revenue. And it was like close to $200,000. And for my company back at that time, we might have been doing $800,000 a year in revenue. You're talking 25% revenue bump from the checkout clerk at Albertsons, which helps you understand that I was going to give time to help somebody who I didn't know because of a relationship with someone I barely knew, not knowing what was in it for me, and look what was in it for me. And I led with value. And so those are those things where it's like, yeah, if you're watching this, like we may do big business together. I don't know. Or we may not, and I can just help you, and I can live with that too because I'll make a deposit and add it to, and hopefully one day you'll be out in the world and be like talking to someone and go, that Jeff from Everbowl was really cool. He helped me with something. Have you ever had Everbowl? No, great. Now they're talking about Everbowl, and I don't have to pay for that advertising. It's better than paid for advertising because it's authentic and real.
Of course.
And
It's word of mouth.
driven. Yeah. So make
What
friends.
do you think is the biggest threat to business right now? Either to yours, Everbowl, and other businesses you may have, or just in general? Do you feel that either capitalism or the entrepreneurial spirit is being kicked in the you know what right now?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't see that at all.
Does it depend on what state you're in?
I mean, look, I think the media and I think certain states make it harder. I mean, I live in California, and California is one of the least business-friendly states in the nation.
It's a challenge.
It's challenging. I mean, the rules that they want to impose, while I understand the spirit of them and why they may feel that it helps the masses, it's like all things. In a way, I'll call it chemotherapy. There's an issue, a systemic issue. We'll call it a cancer in parts of the California fiscal situation or people situation, and their approach is let's use chemotherapy to kill it. The challenge is you're also killing the good stuff, and you're going to drive business out of California and ultimately kill the patient. And I don't think
It's an amazing analogy, but
Thank you. I don't think the powers that be are understanding the ramifications of what they're doing and the long-term effect. But they don't care because they're in office for 2, 4, 6, 8 years, and they need to get votes, and they're getting the votes to stay in power. And I'm not politically telling you whether or not I agree or disagree. I just think that the approach is wrong.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you shouldn't not pay taxes or give all the tax breaks to business. You know, I think that there's a middle ground that makes sense. And how do you juggle that major systemic issue that we have? But I think entrepreneurship and business solves more problems than it won't. I think you look at the major challenges of our generation and what's in front of us. Whether or not you believe it's human-induced climate change or it's nature, I don't care. Climate is changing. We are recognizing it and seeing it. So we may or may not have any impact, and I'm not telling you which one I believe in. I'm simply saying I think innovation and entrepreneurship is going to solve those problems. I
agree with that 100%.
I think our gun issues that we're having, where people are having, mental health issues and we're having mass shootings like it's going out of style. Whether or not to remove guns we can talk about utopian society, but reality is you're not removing guns from streets and you're not removing bullets from guns. There's too many of them. So how do we solve the problem? We don't do it by stricter gun laws or no gun laws and let everyone carry a gun. I think both sides are wrong. I think, again, innovation, entrepreneurship is going to help solve it because we're going to create more jobs. We're going to create better lives for people. So hopefully they have less mental health and a less desire to create. So I think that I'm an advocate of leave it to individuals. And look, whether you love Elon Musk or not, he's changing the world.
He's like our modern day Robin Hood.
He's changing the world. I mean, there's things about him I really don't like.
Yeah.
There's things about him I really do like. But his ideas of going to Mars and building an interplanetary society, electric cars to create an environment where we don't need to burn fossil fuels to do something as basic as transportation, his boring company, his Neuralink, his
what
internet
the
for
Neuralink
everybody.
thing is interesting.
It is.
I'm not sure how I'm feeling about that yet.
Me too. I'm with you. I'm just saying you look at what his big ideas are, and they're changing the world in so many ways, massive. And I think that as you look to more of the Elon Musks of the world, the yous and the me's and the yous out there that can create companies that can impact people and change things, that's what we need more of. We don't need more regulation, and we don't need more free no regulation run muck. We actually need smart businesses and business minds to come together and create the solutions for all the problems that we have.
So I'll finish with this. How big of a role does faith play in your life?
Religion, very small.
Okay.
Faith, and this might sound a little egotistical, but I have a unwavering faith in myself. And how I have that and why I have that is I've struggled with the bigger than me stuff.
Imposter syndrome stuff? No.
I definitely have had that. But the religion, and
gotcha.
I'm saying like when we talk faith, a lot of times you think of religion.
Of course.
I've struggled with that. I have always had a weird side to me where I just never had that connection that a lot of people have. Not that I don't want it. I've tried. I just don't get that feeling. I don't have it. So what I have developed is a unwavering faith in myself that I will figure out what I need to figure out and surround myself with people who can help me do that.
Sure.
And my friends call it Fenster luck. I call it being, luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, intention plus attention equals that. So I am very specific on what I do in this formula by following it in that data. So I have a faith in the formula. I have a faith in the habits. I have a faith in by being a good human, I'm going to get the results. I'm not opposed to a higher than me feeling or, system.
Sure.
If you can show it to me or I can feel it, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm not telling everyone they're wrong. I just haven't felt it, whether that's by design or not. I don't know. Yeah. So I would say that my faith in myself and my faith in being a good human is what drives my life. And I try to do those things and be the best version of myself. And by doing that, I think I'm going to be in a good position, even if it ends up that there is this opportunity.
Fiery ball in the sky.
Yeah, whatever that is. But you did mention something, and I think that is one of my biggest challenges that I've had throughout my life is imposter syndrome. That's something that...
You know what's crazy is every super successful person that you'll talk to, and this, I mean, I could go down the list from probably Kent Clothier, Ed Milet even talks about it, yeah. Jen Gottlieb, Dan Fleischman, all these people you know and you've been around. At some point, they had this in their brain.
Yeah, still do.
And then they overcame it or have now squeezed it down a little bit to find a way to overcome it when they start thinking about it.
Well, I think, in a weird way, it's fuel. Because when you feel like an imposter, you kind of feel like if I don't keep my foot on the accelerator, I'm going to get exposed. It's all going to go away. And I don't deserve it, and I don't belong here, so why would I stop doing all these things that got me here, even if it don't belong or don't deserve? And so I think that the fuel, motivation, and, you know, I get asked a lot, like, how do you find the drive and motivation when you've already made it financially and you have the kids and you could just be on a beach and hanging out? I didn't get there I got here because I have that motivation and drive, and I am afraid that if I stop, I'm going to lose it all, right? And I like the opportunity coupons that money gives you, and I like the freedom it gives me to make investments where I want to make them. And
that's funny. You call them opportunity coupons. I call them choices. Okay. But same concept.
Same thing.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, money to me, I don't care about money. I don't care. I don't drive Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Can I buy one? Sure, I can afford a Lamborghini. I don't have one. It doesn't fill me up.
Yeah.
I don't own planes. I don't fly private. I think it's a waste of money. I'd rather use my opportunity coupons to make investments.
That's like the mind of an apartment guy, like me.
Yes. Which is why we talked so much about that before. That's what motivates me.
Yeah. I want apartment people, we think cash flow and profit and loss statements, and we're like, that's too expensive. Don't spend that.
Yeah. Well, it's also what drives me, right? And I don't feel like I don't think that I'm an ordinary guy. And I figured out what extra stuff to do to get extraordinary results. And so I don't feel like I am Elon Musk. I don't have his brain. I don't have Zuckerberg's brain. Despite my 5'9" frame, I can't dunk like LeBron James. I don't have Oprah Winfrey's personality. You know, I don't have Tom Hanks' acting ability. I don't have, name
Yeah, but
whoever.
you have a keen, this is what I'm gathering based on the different companies, the payroll, the digital marketing, Everbowl. I mean, you could just throw it out there and you could probably figure it out. And the reason is because you'll do whatever research you need to do, invest into what you can give to those people to bring, help for everyone, and allow the how to show up.
Yes. And I think I at this stage in my life have the humility, and I had to lose the ego, but I have the humility and I've lost the ego necessary to appreciate that those around me are more capable than I am, and I need to embrace the fact that that's true and support them in the areas where I'm strong and be on a team and realize that you may be a better pitcher than me, so I'll go play first base. In the days where I need to pitch, I'll pitch. And I'm happy to be the director of high fives and hugs. I don't care about egos and titles. I want us to win.
Yeah.
And when I came to that conclusion and realization earlier in my career, it all changed. Because in my payroll business, I was running great talent out the door over and over and over. And I kept blaming them very quick. That guy, that girl, they just don't understand. Oh, they're weak. They're not mentally tough. They don't understand. And what I realized was happening, eventually I had that mirror moment. I realized I'm the common denominator. I'm the reason they're all leaving. And the reason the reason I was is I had imposter syndrome. I was 24 running this company, and we were growing. I mean, we were a multi-million-dollar organization, and I had private equity. And I felt that if you, as my, pick your position, came up with an idea, and I didn't put a little bit of Jeff DNA into it and take credit, everyone would think I'm a fraud to be the CEO because I'm 24, I'm young, and what do I know? And look, he's smarter than I am. She's smarter than I am. Why is he up top? What's so special about him? And I had all these feelings. So I would take your idea or your concept or your initiative, and I would Jeff it up a little bit and be like, now it's my idea. And,
stamp your...
Yeah, now it's a Jeff plan, and people don't like that. And they left. And I didn't get the best out of my team.
Yeah, they didn't feel the value.
They didn't feel part of the process. Yeah. And so when I stopped doing that and I let people inject their DNA and I said, what a great idea. Let's do it. And it's not my idea, it's your idea, and I'll support you how I need to. All of a sudden, people fell in love with the culture and the brand, and we grew exponentially because they were part of the process. They saw their ideas come to fruition. They got their DNA in it, and you know what? They worked harder because it was their idea. They took accountability for it because it was theirs. Yep. And all of a sudden,
it's the equity they put in now.
And that was another part of that abundance to your point, abundance to give. by giving them that freedom, I acquired an abundance of better talent, better results, better
It's amazing how it works.
It took me losing the ego.
Yeah.
Look, it happens to everyone. I think that imposter syndrome, like I said, I think it's a secret fuel. I wouldn't trade it. I like the fact that I have it. If I didn't have it, I probably would be more of that lazy, cave it in, show up at 10, leave at 2, golf all afternoon.
Still suck at golf.
Still suck at golf, but go to Mission Bay.
There you go. There you go. Well, man, thank you for your time. This has been, if you did not get a tidbit out of this one, there's maybe something to chat about. So, yeah, thanks for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And till next time, take a look at this guy. I mean, if you don't already know him, he's all over the place on social media. And he's got a lot of other media stuff coming out here pretty soon that's going to be launching. So we really appreciate you coming on the Abundance to Give. And we'll sign off right there.
Thank you
so
so
much.
Take care, everybody.